What is up, everybody? We are live right now. No time for intro. No time for anything crazy here because we are doing our very last FFPC draft of the year, and we are on the clock next. So let's get that draft up there. I'm going to get the draft board going, but let's make this first pick right here live, Johnny. Jameer Gibbs or CD Lamb? We can put CD Lamb directly in the lineup. You get a free look over here. So what do you think first here?
Oh,
Or
I
Saquon?
mean, this has nothing to do with last night. I've been more of a Barkley guy this year than Gibbs when I've taken drafts. Obviously Lamb had a great night last night too, drops aside, and they're gonna have to throw a lot. I'd be more on the Barkley Lamb train.
Barkley looked great. Let's get Barkley in there. Draft Saquon Barkley. There we go. All right, let me get the draft board up here, and we'll get that all set and squared away. Johnny, why don't you tell everybody how they can get set up over at FFPC while I'm getting this up?
Yeah, fantasyalarm.com/FFPC. Use promo code ALARM. You can go sign up over there. All of their season-long contests are full with the exception of the big gorilla that we are drafting right now. So there is still time to go to FFPC.com, myffpc.com, use that promo code ALARM, sign up, get in the big gorilla contest. Now, they do have weekly contests this year as well, where you pick one player a team and it goes through the week. So, you have the opportunity to enjoy FFPC all season long now. And then, of course, we do a ton of content for their playoff contest, which a couple of years ago when it was the Eagles versus the Chiefs 2 years back, I nearly won their main event contest there. Took home $5,000. It was a nice little payday for John. So plenty of opportunities still to make money. Playoff contests, obviously at the end of the year, but they have weekly contests now that you can sign up and join. So no reason now not to sign up. fantasyalarm.com/FFPC. Promo code ALARM when you sign up there.
Yeah, and you get the free look. So basically, if you draft today or tomorrow, if you draft today, you got to watch the game yesterday. We got to watch Saquon Barkley look great, and then we took Saquon Barkley, one-handed catches, spin moves, the whole deal. CeeDee Lamb also looked great. You can move guys down if you're scared about AJ Brown, you're scared about any of these other guys. You can do that as well. And tomorrow, you can still draft as long as this doesn't fill. You can still potentially draft tomorrow, and you'll know what's going on with the Chiefs. You'll know what's going on, with the running back split between Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. So kind of cool they do that. They do that so that people can go out and draft live in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
A bunch of our buddies, Theo Greminger, Dave Turp, they're all out there drafting right now, which is a lot of fun. Me and Johnny
I'm excited to see how far AJ Brown falls in this draft.
I'm still willing to take him
after what he did last night,
and
then how early we see Jalen Hurts go.
Yeah, with AJ Brown, I was checking out some data on him. Shout out to the guys at Fantasy Points, Scott Barrett especially, pointed out that he thinks that potentially there might be still a bit of a hamstring lingering issue because he actually had his worst separation score he's ever had in a game since they've been charting it.
It was a 0.
His target share was the worst it's been since a random game a couple years ago. Like, just a tough game from him. So we'll have to see. They did bracket him. Deron Bland's pretty good. So I'm not completely out on him, but I don't think you need to take him in the second round if you're doing one of these.
Yeah, I expected, honestly, the Eagles offense to throw the ball a little bit more. I understand, obviously, it's Barkley, it's Jalen Hurts, but I thought we'd see more opportunities downfield out of them, and the only person that got opportunities downfield was Jahan Dotson. So,
yeah.
I had expected to see maybe Devonta Smith get some looks down there. Dallas Goedert looked fine. Ferguson looked good on the other side. Lamb obviously looked great. Didn't see Pickens all too much involved. I thought we'd see a little bit more of him. He did have a catch there at the end. He was great at blocking on some plays, but I think a bit of a subdued offensive performance outside of really Jalen Hurts last night.
Right.
So.
And they were kind of giving, the Eagles, the Cowboys were doing what a lot of teams do these days, which is just play a shell, kind of bracket guys and say, okay, you can have the underneath. See if you can beat us there. We'll try and stop you on third downs. The problem with the Eagles is that they want it to be 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. They have an unstoppable play. Right?
They didn't, dude. They run one tush push last night. Like, they didn't really utilize their play. They didn't necessarily have to. The Cowboys, despite their shell defense there, didn't really spy Jalen Hurts all that well.
No, they didn't.
He broke loose quite a few times there, and obviously both his touchdown runs. You see him running for touchdowns when they're inside the 5, and he was running, from outside there. So,
Yeah, you wonder if maybe this team with Micah Parsons wins that game last night, right? So you got to take those jabs at Jim Billings Cowboys when you get the chance. I just want to say we're coming up soon, but I want to say what up to everybody in the chat. Jerry, what's going on? Angie in here, Kev Tompkins, joking 7 straight running backs. I'm sure Kev Tompkins at 4 would have taken Brock Bowers. If you're surprised by the tight ends going in the first round here, don't be. This is tight end premium. So every player gets 1 point PPR. Tight ends get 1.5. So outside of that, it's pretty standard. There are a couple flex spots rather than just one, so you can go bully tight end. I hate going with 2 high-end tight ends with only 1 flex spot, but if you have 2, you can do it if you want. So yeah, pretty standard there. This is a $350 buy-in tournament, so it's, in my opinion, high stakes, right? Some people were like, "Oh, anything under 1,000 isn't high stakes." For me, anytime you're putting up more than $250, I consider that to be high stakes. So, decent prizes in this one for sure. And again, this one's still open and you can still draft, and we can retroactively set our lineup. So it's not like we're drafting Barkley, but we don't get him. Like we drafted Barkley. We're going to put him in our RB1 spot for this week. So
I was going to ask you, given the fact that this is head to head, right? So head to head week 1 matchups, right? For this tournament. How soon does Jalen Hurts go off the board?
That's a good question.
Would you take him on the swing around 3-4?
I don't know if we want to go. I think we can consider him there. Do we want to go load up on Eagles like that?
Do I want to load up on a team that's going to score a lot of touchdowns?
One of the best teams, Super Bowl champs.
So
we're on the clock. Best available based on ADP. Devon Achane, who I don't really want to take here. Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, who I like. AJ Brown.
Yeah, I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I know this is tight end premium. We're both kind of high in George Kittle, and if CMC's down, I know you like to wait on tight end because you're the tight end guy.
We can get an advantage at tight end. Would you go Josh Jacobs or Ladd McConkey? That's who I'm sitting on.
I would go Jacobs here.
Okay, let's go RB heavy.
RB heavy is also my style of drafting. I would have gone Jonathan Taylor in a heartbeat.
There are wide receivers that we like maybe more than some others in that mid range. So we'll go RB here. Not the only people doing it. And then you know what? We can cool down on RB a little bit. I'm not opposed to taking 3 in the top 5, 6 though if the right guys are there.
No, I agree.
Now the thing is, now that we have Barkley, I don't think we want to be the team taking AJ Brown here. So I'm thinking Kittle, Ladd McConkey. Or we could consider a quarterback.
I mean, just given the format, and I'm obviously Jalen Hurts' #1 fan. I would consider Hurts in round 3 here. It's not too far of a reach, right? Considering where we're drafting.
I also really like JSN. I will say that.
Yeah, I am less bullish on Seattle's passing offense. I don't know what to come of it. Is Darnold a product of the system, or is he an actual good quarterback?
I think it's a good system, and the thing with the setup for this offense is that the usage of the tight ends and the fullbacks really highly consolidates the targets among only a couple guys. So it's not like the Packers where it's like 6 different guys are getting 70 targets. They're going to have a fullback out there. They're going to have like AJ Barner out there, and it's going to be JSN and Cooper Kupp getting all the targets. So even if they are towards the lower end of the spectrum in terms of volume, it's only going to a couple guys, So for me, that's why I like JSN. He's clearly the best player on this offense. I find it hard to believe that he's going to go out and get like only 5 or 6 targets a game. It's just where is the ball even going to go?
Well, I guess it all depends on whether or not you're a believer in Sam Darnold or not. If you think he's actually a good quarterback, right?
I don't even think he has to be. I mean, I've seen DJ Moore have a gigantic season playing with Justin Fields because he's the only show in town. Like I think Sam Darnold is definitely a better passer than a lot of these guys, like Justin Fields, for instance. Like, I mean, he got MVP votes last year. It wasn't just the weapons. Like he would actually, you have to deliver.
I think the system and the weapons certainly play a bit of a. I mean, listen, we saw for a while there. Seattle with Geno Smith was throwing a ton, obviously. Now, different system involved there, but I mean, it's fine. Again, he's the top wide receiver left on the board here. So, if you wanted to grab him, that's fine. Again, I'm always partial to taking quarterbacks early, but
so would you move? So Jalen Hurts attempted 23 passes last night, but scored a couple rushing touchdowns. Do you move Jalen Hurts up to your QB1 based on what we saw
I
yesterday?
mean, in this format, you get the early week one. Look at it. I don't mind it. Again, he ran for 14 touchdowns last year. He's run for the most rushing touchdowns as a quarterback since he entered the league, basically. So I'm not opposed.
I say we try and see if he'll make it around.
Okay. I don't think he
Uh,
will, but I'm happy to take a wide receiver here as well. So if you want JSN, that works.
I'm using my veto on JSN, and
Okay.
I'm sure along the line there'll be somebody where you're like, I want this guy, and we'll go there.
That's fine.
I think JS. I think because like you look at last year's Kubiak offense, like Chris Olave early on in the year, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, especially Rashid Shaheed, like those guys were getting funneled a ton of targets. And if people didn't get hurt, they they were on pace to be great. So we'll see here. Jaden Daniels, first QB off the board. What do you make
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
that?
say we're about to get the run here, I think.
I mean, I'm not worried about it. We got to lean into our strengths, dude. You got all these great QB takes, sneaky guys. I don't know. I hope no one in this draft is watching, but sneaky guys like Trevor Lawrence and these guys. I mean, don't we want to take advantage of that?
Well, Trevor Lawrence is a QB2. You still like the elite quarterbacks, you
Yeah.
know.
There goes Jane Daniels.
I
There
was
goes
gonna say
Lamar
you're gonna get
Jackson.
Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen off the board.
I just worry that you get left too far behind at wide receiver in a format like this, and you end up in big trouble.
Maybe.
It
I mean,
is
obviously the depth at the position, you can draft more.
You just don't get breakouts from wide receiver that often.
Okay.
It is a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex format. So it's like,
Yes.
we can go kind of a hero wide receiver type thing here. We don't have to go crazy.
Let's see. Pick 4 come back around. I mean, we're at what is it? What is our like pick selection here?
Did the co-owner thing, did it add you over there?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just had
Okay,
it.
yeah.
So we have probably in our range, what? Sutton, Harrison, Worthy.
Marv always seems to go before you would think.
I like Marvin Harrison, so
Me too.
I would take him if he's there.
I would definitely take him there. I would definitely take Devontae Adams as a guy I like. I'm scared of Garrett.
You're not worried about like the Stafford back?
Yeah, a little bit.
And like, again, Adams is not the one on that team, right? Puka is the number 1 on that team.
Hard to say who's going to be the number 1.
I would imagine Nakua would be the one. Adams, I mean, again, aging receiver.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the guy's averaged 10 targets a game for the last 7 years, including last year. And Puka Adams is going through, because he's a veteran, he was going through all the drills first.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you got to think of it this way. If you're a defense, right? Everybody in the world says Puka's the number 1.
Sure.
So who's going to draw the tougher coverage? I mean, are people still going to go and respect Devontae Adams and put their number 1 corner on him, or is the number 1 corner going to be on Puka Nacua? Because sometimes that can make a big difference in who's getting the targets in any individual game.
Yeah, he's kind of been a guy. I mean, again, when we're sort of in that receiver range, I've generally either gone Harrison or gotten Courtland Sutton instead. I've avoided the Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams tier.
I'm out on Garrett Wilson, and I'm a little concerned about Terry McLaurin too. I mean, he's an older guy. He didn't get a ton of targets last year. He made an insane number of contested catches, a number that is very hard to repeat. Like,
yeah, you're basically banking on him performing because he's playing with, for all thoughts, the best quarterback he's played with.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He was basically the same guy he's been, except for instead of scoring 5 touchdowns, he scored 13.
Which is, I mean, that's huge. Touchdowns are one of the reasons why, again, like JSN for me, I'm a little like, what the win total for Seattle is not like a high win total. Do we think there's going to be a lot of touchdowns scored for them through the air? Like guys that find the end zone versus volume monsters, they're a little bit different. Like we talked a lot about Amon-Ra St. Brown and like the targets and volumes, and all of a sudden he scored a bunch of touchdowns, right? So like there's the added boost there.
If you want touchdowns, Devontae Adams, this is a guy that has like 6 different seasons with double-digit touchdowns, and Sean McVay showed a whole highlight reel of what he brings to the table. So I'm just saying,
prime Aaron Rodgers is a little different than Matthew Stafford with 4 broken discs in his back, but
he scored some touchdowns with Derek Carr. Let's not 14 touchdowns in 1 year with Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek let's not sleep on Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr was a decent quarterback.
Here are his touchdowns by year the last like 7 years. 12, 10, 13, 5 in a year he got hurt. 18, 11, 14, last 2 years, 8 and 8. So just saying, but you don't like him, so then we don't.
I mean, again, I don't know. I really haven't touched much of the Rams offense. I'm not about. I worry a little bit of Stafford's health.
The health is a problem. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see when we get there. I mean, we still got a few picks away. I would love for Marvin Harrison to be there.
Yeah, I would too. But like you said, he's coming. Feels like he's going to be off the board here in a few picks. So,
what do you think about Tyreek Hill?
I haven't taken a lot of them. I think you and I, when we had early conversations, again, it wouldn't shock me if Hill comes off first too. But we've had conversations going back to the beginning of draft season where Hill was going in round 3 or whatever. That's like, oh, him and Tua aren't on the same page, and like, yeah. Like this guy had back-to-back 1,700 yard
right. He from this range. Him and Marv are the two guys that could just potentially go crazy.
Yeah, you know? and again, take McDaniel for what it is. He is one of those coaches that doesn't try to give you literally anything, but said both Hill and Achane are good to go. They'll be on the field. They'll be ready to play in week 1. So if that is the case, you're getting the guy that was like essentially the best wide receiver in football for 2 years in round 4
and a crazy discount. So I don't want to jinx it. We got a few guys in our queue. We're up in 4 picks. So hopefully somebody else takes Devontae Adams, takes that question out of our hands here, and we'll keep going. Though for those out there, what we're doing,
Devontae Adams off the board.
There it is. Boom. See, I willed that into existence.
Tyreek Hill.
Hanging out, we got the Twitch gang in the house. What's happening, dog? For those just popping in, what we're doing an FFPC Big Gorilla draft. They're still open. To throw everybody off, I named our team Coop Big Gorilla 37 just to make it seem like we've done a ton of these. I've not drafted 36 to $350 teams this year, though. No, I have not. So that's just a smoke screen. I've only done a couple of these, but we're doing one last one. You can go and do these right now. Sign up at FFPC, use promo code ALARM. They'll give you $25 when you deposit $35 or more. This is one of the last few places where you can draft, and they do a free look because they want people out there drafting live in Vegas. So you can actually draft players that played last night. You can draft players that played tonight, and you can put them right in your lineup. So it's kind of cool that way. We drafted Saquon Barkley. We get to slot him in at RB1. We're up next. Mike Evans is – so our queue is Marvin Harrison and Jalen Hurts. Mike Evans just went, so we're going to get
quarterback's not being taken here. So
I just say we take whoever's there of those two. If they're both there, who do you want?
I want the quarterback.
Okay, we'll take Jalen Hurts here and just be monster Eagles fans. Which, if you're going to be a fan of a team in fantasy, not too bad.
I've been Jalen Hurts calling him out on Twitter from the beginning, so I'm certainly. Willing to go.
While we're doing this, folks, feel free to throw your team in the chat. Yeah, Marv took it off the board for us, so we'll just make the easy pick here with Jalen Hurts, which is who we wanted anyway. Great news. Get to put him right in the lineup. Give us a good chance of winning this week. Feel free to throw questions in the chat. Throw your team in there. Throw start sits in there. As we're doing this draft, we'll do our best to help you guys out. Why not? So, what do you think about this team, John? Baker at quarterback, Genty and Bijan at the running back, Higgins and Jigba and Mark Andrews. Broncos defense, not a lot of holes there, man.
No, good bench.
Yeah, I'm still drafting Chris Godwin. I'm still holding out hope. I know he's not going to be up to full speed probably until the second half of the year. But
I was going to say, going to be basically not playing till October, and then he's got to get ramped up from there.
Right? Then he's going to be eased in. Yeah, so it's like,
and then who knows? Egbuka could just be awesome, and they don't even
could just be awesome, and then they just wasted $66 million. That happens sometimes. But I'll tell you, format like that seems fairly shallow, right? Where it's only two running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex, as you kind of laid out there. Like, that's the kind of format where I'm like, yeah, give me the high upside guys over kind of the boring guys. If it's one of these leagues where it's like a bunch of flexes and it's deep, then you need like the Khalil Shakirs and those kind of guys. But for me, if it's a shallow league, I'll draft Rashee Rice. Like you did. I mean, he took Addison and Godwin, which is maybe playing a little bit risky, but I'm playing to win. I'm playing for upside. So I do like that team a lot. Garrett Wilson off the board, which is great because I don't like taking him. So our queue now again, don't want to give it away in case people are
I was
spying
going to
on us.
say, what are we? Let's not give away the board here.
I
But I
mean, if
have
there's
added quite a few players into our queue here, Coop. So
yeah, we got some
um,
guys, and you have them in that order. You have them in there. Is that the order that you're feeling good
that's the
about 'em?
order I'm feeling them. Yeah.
Okay, I like that, and I think that depending what happens here, we should be able to get a decent wide receiver. There's some running backs still to consider, but I think after going 2 at the top, we should just stick with 2 and go
Yeah, I
5
mean,
from there.
there's definitely some lead backs in this range. I threw one in the queue. If there's more that you like, um, certainly open to drafting.
Yeah. So I
Um,
went through last year and I looked at all the teams that finished top 10. And I even took a glance at a lot of the teams that finished top 20 or so. But I took all the teams that finished top 10 and kind of put them in a spreadsheet and really looked over just some things of the builds. I looked at all the drafts just to get a feel of like what a winning team looks like in this.
yeah,
And there are a couple things that I would like to do based on those. One is since we've gone quarterback early, I don't want to take another mid-range quarterback. Almost none of the teams were doing that. They were
yeah.
either going with a high-end quarterback or they were taking like
This
2
this is
late,
where you take Trevor Lawrence way later,
way
right?
late. Exactly. He might even go undrafted into something like this. So we take him with like the last couple picks. Um, no team that finished in the top 10 took a kicker or defense in the top 15 rounds, and the vast majority of them used their last 2 picks on those. Uh, so again, if you want like someone will probably take reach for Brandon Aubrey. That's fine. I mean, we could even consider him in the 15th round, but I don't want to take one before then. Do we go
We
Cortland
got
Sutton here?
sniped there. That was the top
We
guy
did
in our
get
queue.
sniped on DJ Moore, but I'm perfectly happy taking Cortland Sutton.
Yep.
Unless you want to get froggy with Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, Sutton's good for me.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get number ones.
Reliable. We got reliable players here.
Listen, we've talked up enough of this Denver offense, right? And obviously, it's more so liking Evan Ingram being added there because he fits the Joker role in the offense. But it just also opens up the offense for this passing attack. And we believe that Bo Nix is going to take a step forward in year 2. And if that's the case, then we're looking at a guy that should throw over for over 4,000 yards, and give you, around 30 touchdown passes. And Sutton's their number 1. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy to get
right.
him.
And in this scheme, I mean, we've seen in the past what they want to do. They use like a they like their joker roles, which is basically guys that you can play out of position. Taysom Hill playing them all over. A running back that you can line up at wide receiver and have run routes like Alvin Kamara or Austin Eckler, which Joe Lombardi brought with him to the Chargers. They like the joker tight end, a guy like Evan Ingram that you can play out of position. We've seen, even with Marquise Colston and Jimmy Graham playing together, those guys were able to feast because they were 2 focal points, and they were still throwing the ball to Mark Ingram and Reggie Bush and all those guys back then. So I have no problem with taking Sutton, and it doesn't prevent me from taking RJ Harvey or Evan Ingram. I think those guys are going to be the focal points of this offense, and the other guys are going to end up being like your field stretcher types. You know what I mean? Like Lance Moore, right? Like those type guys where, yeah, like Troy Franklin or Marvin Mims might get loose for a long ball every once in a while, but like they're not going to come out and get 125 targets and really throw a wrench in our plans. So I have like drafting Sutton doesn't prevent me from drafting more Broncos because I like the roles for these guys. Jameson Williams off the board here. Howard's been big on JMO. I mean, I've definitely been coming around on him too. He also gets a lot of carries, which is a little added bonus.
Dude,
That
almost no one's a bigger fan of the Jameson Williams than me.
you're in.
Our future friend there, Rob. I'm always talking up some Jameson Williams to him. Again, the best wide receiver in college, essentially. When he was there, got hurt, had some other unfortunate things kind of derail his career to begin in Detroit, and then last season had the year that I felt like he was always capable of having.
Right. And they traded up to get him. But you got to remember, like, they loved this guy coming out, right? Traded way up to get him. So
all world speed, downfield stretcher, great hands, and he's not a guy that just runs straight. He can run different routes. And when you're trying to chase this guy across the field horizontally, you can't. He's too fast. So he just gets open running those post routes. I guess the biggest question we have for Detroit is like the turnover with their offensive staff. Like Ben Johnson's gone. Was Ben Johnson the key to their success offensively, or is it a systematic thing where the next guy up takes the system that Ben Johnson had? He came over, right? He came back to Detroit from where he was it the Rams before? And now kind of re-implementing that whole system. And can they be as creative? Can they be as successful without Ben Johnson there?
Right. And again, like, how often do we see it end up being like that drastic and that bad? You know what I mean? It's more often, as much as it pains me to say it, because I think Ben Johnson's great. More often we see the coordinators leave and then fail elsewhere than we see the team sit back and say, "Oh man, we can't do it without our special guy." You know what I mean? Like, how many times does a Josh McDaniels leave, or Matt Nagy, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, no!" And then it turns out that it was the players that were, the great thing all along. Which I think that the Lions are a great team. They have
Yep.
great players, and the coaches that they elevate are just going to do their best to run the same scheme. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think they're going to be
The talent definitely helps, right? Because like
right.
McDaniels kept on leaving. They brought in a new offensive coordinator. It's like, but you have Tom Brady, so it was okay. When McDaniels left and we had Mac Jones as the quarterback, and then the next year was Patricia and what's his face there from the
Right.
Giants, wasn't the same, right? So
Right.
scheme fits, players fit the scheme. They elevate each other a little bit. Tight end run here, Coop. We talked a lot about this being tight end premium. Laporta, Kelsey, Hawkinson, Warren, Njoku, who is someone I really liked in week 1 with that matchup against the
Oh
Bengals.
yeah.
Do we grab a tight end here? Again, you're the tight end guy. Are
We'll
we
see
coming
what's
around where we want to draft a tight end?
we'll see what's there, man. I think we can that's somewhere we can create leverage, but if the right name is there, then I'm not opposed. Like, if Mark Andrews is there, then I think that's something that we should strongly consider. And
Are you worried at all about, again, the Isaiah Likely chatter? People expecting Likely to come back. Obviously, they had early comments this season. Harbaugh expects Likely to just be this, a guy they can just line up at different spots in the offense.
yeah, I mean, I think Isaiah Likely, if anything, hurts the wide receivers more than he hurts Mark Andrews. I mean, Mark Andrews last year, like, when I pull up my spreadsheets and I look at the usage and all the information, comparing it to past years, I mean, Mark Andrews still went out there and ran like 70% of his routes from a wide receiver spot. He still scored 11 touchdowns, finished as a tight end one. He started slow because he was coming off the tightrope surgery and got in the car
Yeah.
accident. But and not to mention, with Isaiah Likely, he's got a little wiggle to him, a little that basketball player wiggle, but he's slow. He runs like a 4.8. He does play more in line than Andrews is. And when you compare Likely stats last year to other tight end twos, like, he was only marginally better than Noah Gray and Austin Hooper statistically. He really had that one big Chiefs game the week 1, and then he was fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think people are getting over their skis with Isaiah Likely just a little bit. I see no reason to draft a backup tight end with a broken foot on my teams. So for me, I have no problem taking Mark Andrews here. The thing is, the one argument against Mark Andrews is related to this format, because when in a tight end premium format, sometimes people just think, "Oh yeah, it just makes all the tight ends better." But it's not really the case. It only applies to targets and receptions. So guys like David Njoku and Travis Kelsey, it makes them a lot better. Guys like Evan Engram, it makes them a lot better. Guys like Mark Andrews and Sam Laporta, and potentially guys like um, Tucker Kraft, that make their bones on touchdowns and long plays, it doesn't necessarily boost them. So that's why, for me, I might not be going for Andrews here. We're seeing the effects of yesterday's game as George Pickens and Devonta Smith are sliding here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would still be
But
bullish on George Pickens, man. Like, they threw the ball a ton in that game, and they're going to have to throw a ton.
right.
But obviously, you draft them, you're getting no points. So, like,
We
you
can't put him in the it's like
you can't put them in
we're
your
not gonna
lineup for
start him
week
in our
1.
lineup.
Yeah.
I like Jalen Waddle. Howard does not.
Howard's been on an anti-Waddle crusade here for a little bit. Our Q is getting picked apart here as well, as we go through
Yeah.
this round. Um,
Yeah, for me, I mean, like,
I'm not against Waddle. Here's my thing with the Miami offense, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit more. In years past, when two has gone down, they've had a 0 at the quarterback position. It's
Right.
not to say that Zach Wilson is a good quarterback, but I have better belief that he is better at playing quarterback than what they've had as the backups the last 2 seasons. So I would be willing to go Waddle regardless of sort of the Miami offensive fear here. And if something was to happen to Tua, I would feel confident that they have an actual quarterback plan behind him this year. So
Right. And this is a spot where these 2 turns, there's a few players that we'd have to reach a little bit if we want them. Like, if we want Stephon Diggs, we gotta have to take him here or the next pick. Matthew Golden's another interesting name. Do you have any interest in Matthew Gold? Oh, where did he just go?
no, he didn't
No.
go. Adunze went. I'd be okay with Golden. Again, he's a rookie wide receiver. He's expected to be the wide receiver one, we think. It's all about what you believe in as the player and the offense. I mean, there's certainly some safer picks in this spot here.
This is a big tournament. I say we go upside.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm fine going Golden if you want. Again, I still would consider looking at Pickens and Smith regardless of what happened. I mean, they're I think they're going to be productive players this year. Pickens probably more than Smith. But I'm fine going Waddle or Golden here if you want.
You make the call, man. Chat wants Golden.
Yeah, go Golden. That's fine.
All right. And then next round, when we come back around, there's still a bunch of wide receivers we like. There's 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes. So we can take another wide receiver, or we can consider Evan Ingram or Mark Andrews. I think in full PPR, I would skew Ingram a little more. But if we don't get them, then that's where we just wait and we maybe double tap like a Hunter Henry, Dalton Kincaid later. Which I think in the format like this, you can get by and you can potentially hit on some upside. I think the rumors on Dalton Kincaid are overblown. Last year, this guy playing a part-time role with nagging injuries was still on pace for 98 targets.
Sure.
Like, he was involved plenty. And this is the form. Like, he had more, despite missing 3 games and leaving others with injuries, he had more targets last year than Tucker Kraft had on the season. Right? Like, even as a guy that missed a bunch of games. So for me, a guy like Kincaid, I think could be a big way to create leverage if things just break right. Like, if you get him at his ADP and he gets 100 targets, then you're all set in something like that.
What do you make of I guess we'll wait till we go back around again. I feel like we can talk about players, but we're also drafting to win some real money. So it's like, how much do we discuss guys that we like versus guys that we don't like?
I don't think we want to give anything away necessarily.
I just added a player to the bottom of our queue that I have a lot of in best ball this year. And a few years ago had over 100 targets at the position and is someone that has put up decent performances when healthy. It's a kind of a favorite target of the quarterback. Again, I understand the formatting here, but when we come back around, I guess we can decide where we want to go. But
yeah. So folks just joining us now, we're drafting an FFPC Big Gorilla team. You can still draft on FFPC, one of the few platforms where you can. Basically, they keep the draft open because they want to do a big live event in Las Vegas. Johnny and I are thinking about going out there next year. So
we have had those conversations. We'll clear it with the wives.
Yes, it's got to be cleared at the highest level.
And we'll make sure that we also have our setups, because we're gonna have to do the live stuff from Vegas, which has been done plenty of times.
We're creating content out there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We'll hit up the, if we have to, we'll just hit up the Vizin studios. You know,
yeah, we'll borrow some time for sure.
For sure.
I do Vizin hits every once in a while. I'm sure they'll let me on.
Yeah.
So.
Jared Moore and those guys. So they'll set us up, dude.
Yeah,
Matt Deutsch. But anyway, we're doing an FFPC draft. It's tight end premium. You can still draft now, and you get the free look at the players. So if you draft today, you can draft guys that played last night, Eagles and Cowboys, and put them right in your lineup. So we're going to start Saquon Barkley, right? We're going to start Jalen Hurts. We have them. We're going to be looking pretty good for our week 1.
I'd say week 1, we got 3 touchdowns already.
Week 1 feeling pretty good. If you draft tomorrow when they're still open, then you can potentially take Chiefs and Chargers players. So jump in the Big Gorilla now. If you're not set up at myffpc.com, you can use promo code ALARM, ALARM. Looks just like this on my shirt. And you can get a $25 bonus when you deposit $35 or more. These contests, $350 buy-in, and there are monster prizes in this one. So last chance to draft the team. We figured we'd jump on it on Friday, even though some football was played last night. So we are coming up on the clock in a couple picks here. Definitely.
Do you think that maybe the field is overreacting a little bit to Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones split? Like I understand that they've talked about. Oh, Aaron Jones just went,
There
so it
goes
didn't
Aaron
even
Jones.
matter. We can talk about it now, though. Like, do you think that the field's overreacting a bit to
Yeah,
the idea that
honestly, I think
Mason's going
so.
to cut
Aaron
in?
Jones last year had more yards from scrimmage than Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson had the second most receiving yards of any player. We're on the clock here. Do we take players? I'm looking at Devonta Smith, Evan Ingram, and then now would be probably our last chance to take Stephon Diggs or Michael Pittman. Pittman could sneak back to us though.
Yeah, I think Pittman comes back. I'd be good at going Ingram again. I'm bullish on Denver's offense. I'm not afraid of
I'm not
doubling
shying
up.
away from it. And this is the format for Evan Ingram, right? He's a PPR. Like the criticisms of him are that he's a low A dot PPR guy. Good, great.
If Bo
Tight
Nix is
end
going to have a
premium.
breakout season this year, we have his top 2 pass catchers. So
Right. And maybe we could even have Bo Nix, we'll see. I don't like to draft. So again, I wrote an article just covering the big gorilla and just some things that the teams that did really well last year did. Don't take a kicker or defense before round 15. The teams that took quarterbacks early, virtually all of them waited on their second one. And some guys even actually did take like a Lamar Jackson and then later hit on another quarterback like a Baker Mayfield, but they waited on that. Same thing with tight end. There was not a lot of successful bully tight end teams. And John, maybe make you feel a little better. None of the top 5 tight ends drafted last year were really among the teams. And I was surprised only one Trey McBride team. So even Trey McBride wasn't super impactful. There were a few like the name to hit last year was Brock Bowers because he was going like tight end 11. And this he was going maybe a little bit higher. You got lucky when they traded away Devontae Adams, a guy that gets 10 targets a game. But hitting on that later tight ends can be huge. And in fantasy football, in PPR, a tight end has come from tight end 18 in ADP or later to finish top 5 in 13 straight seasons. So it's one of the few positions where you can find a difference-making guy if you're paying attention on the wire, if you're paying attention to the right details. Last year it was Jonnu Smith. It's been Evan Ingram multiple times, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, going back to guys like Julius Thomas and Heath Miller. Like they're out there. So it's our job to find them.
Yeah, for sure. That's the
There goes
advantage,
Diggs.
too, right? We're so used to drafting best ball teams, Scoop, that it's like we're gonna have the ability to make moves in this league.
Right.
So,
Exactly. We can make moves. We can add guys off the wire. That's why I'm not super worried about tight end 2 or QB2 or defense. I think we got to load up on weapon here. We have 2 running backs. So you start 2 running backs, you start 2 wide receivers, and 2 flexes. So right now, every player we've drafted is in our lineup. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs are our running backs. JSN and Cortland Sutton are our starting 2 wide receivers. We're going to have Matthew Golden in the flex. We'll have Evan Ingram at tight end. And whoever we draft next is going to be in our lineup in a flex spot. So kind of a deeper format here. I imagine we're going to see some wide receivers go. Let's take a peek at the running backs available just to see if there's anything we want to do here. I do like Tyrone Tracy.
I'm fine with it. I think both him and Scatabo are going to have roles in this offense. You
Have you been drafting a lot of Scatabo?
What?
Have you been drafting a lot of Scatabo?
If he's fallen in the right spot, I got some shares of him.
I was doing my last few best ball drafts to max out a contest. On the last few days, I had like 10 teams left, and I forced myself to draft a few guys I had none of. And
I could see him just getting when they get in the red zone.
Right.
He's the power running back, right? Like he's there to, he's one of those guys when he gets to the second level, he's fast because he's in the second level, but he's a bowling pin getting through there, So
right.
I think they could use him in sort of those shorter down red zone areas.
Yeah, I think that they should. I mean, same thing with like a guy like Jordan Mason. That's the kind of the game plan. But that to me doesn't stop Tyrone Tracy from catching a bunch of balls. It's full PPR. So I don't think that's crazy. Jaylen Warren also. I was very surprised this offseason. For those that haven't kind of witnessed what's going on, if you look at the usage for Jaylen Warren this offseason, it's like they completely changed his role. It's like they basically made him Najee Harris. He was playing with the first team and getting all the first team reps, but he didn't take any of the third down snaps. Kenneth Gainwell got like all the third down snaps.
Yeah.
It's legit, almost like they said, you're going to be Najee Harris now, and Kenneth Gainwell is going to do your job, and then Caleb Johnson is going to be our RB3. Which is kind of crazy with Warren because he's so good at pass blocking, he's so good on pass downs. I find it hard to believe that they're just going to take that away.
Yeah, I mean, he still probably catches the football, just the way the scheme of the offense is going to be with
Is he
Aaron
going to be a
Rodgers.
feature back over there, Johnny? He doesn't
It's Aaron
feel like
Rodgers,
it.
man. I'm not really surprised that a rookie running back's not high on his
Right.
high on his tier to play next to. So
It has me interested in Warren. Like,
I like Warren. I
yeah,
wouldn't mind it.
because
I
it's
don't think
like
I don't think he doesn't get it. He's not going to be involved. So
if you because if you really think about it, if you're the running back coach, if you set it up this way, where Warren already knows the pass down role, now he knows the early down role. If Kenneth Gainwell gets hurt, you have the option. Well, like think of it this way: if Jalen Warren gets hurt, you just move Caleb Johnson into the rundown role. Caleb Johnson only needs to learn that one role, the early down role, right? You move him in there, and then you have Kenneth Gainwell. If Kenneth Gainwell gets hurt, you have the option of moving Jalen Warren to that rundown role and using Caleb Johnson moving into the pass down role, running more Caleb Johnson. It's like it's a pretty good setup to ease in a rookie and just have him learn the one role. So I don't know, but Jalen Warren, I mean, his per snap metrics have always been good. He's just one of those guys that he just doesn't get more snaps. If he does, he could be awesome. So I don't know. Definitely a name to keep an eye on, and it would ease us up a little bit in terms of like now we're not just now if one of our starting running backs gets hurt, we're not like dead in the water. I don't want to take Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt here. I'll tell you that. No.
So here's the thing with Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is that like I went to today. Now it doesn't mean anything, but DraftKings Sportsbook doesn't even have his rushing props up anymore. So like I don't think they know. I don't think anybody knows what this guy is going to do.
Right.
I think
just
that
took him out.
And even the comments that Shanahan made, or the coach there for the Commanders, whatever, blanking on it for a second.
Their running back coach, Anthony Lynn, is running back coach.
Yeah, there was a comments made. They asked about Bill there, and he said like, yeah, it's kind of wild to hear the hype around Bill. Like we'll see, like, and it's like it wasn't like he was like, yeah, he's our number one guy. Like, can't wait to use him. It was very much like, yeah, like done some great things during the preseason for us. Like excited to see like what can come of him. Like he was a 7th round pick. Right? Like
right.
It's
you don't love hearing that. There goes Javonte Williams.
I was wondering if we were maybe thinking about it when he came back around, but
yeah, I mean, now that Javonte and Jalen Warren are gone, J.K. Dobbins is a guy I'm not really taking a ton of. I get the idea. I think that we're up in 3 picks. Definitely take a look at Tracy if he's there. Then there's some wide receivers that we obviously like that are potentially available.
Yeah, I mean, look at the teams that we're up against too, right? Like, what does their roster construction look like? What are they more likely to be drafting as they kind of swing back around? Team 2 only has 2 running backs. Team 3's got 3. You can kind of maybe predict where they may be looking to go. Team 1 only has 2
these teams are definitely. I think if it's between 2 players, we should probably take the running back.
I would take the running back as well. That's where I would go.
Now, there's a running back that you and I both like that was a potential flag plant for both of us. Too early to go there, probably.
I think so. Just based on where the ADP is, it all depends on where people like him. But I'm also a firm believer in who you want when you want. So.
Yeah.
If we believe that this is our guy and this is going to be a better play than Tracy, like take him now. Like why wait and risk losing on that player if you think why take a worse player if you think so?
I do prefer Tracy because the thing is,
well, he just went. So I think now would be the time to pull on that, or we go wide receiver.
I think I want to take Michael Pittman here.
Okay.
That's been my ride or die.
And listen, that running back, if it's just based on ADP, should be there on the way back.
Right. And if not, we'll take somebody else. All right, let's get Pittman in there. Because the FFPC just tweeted out a graphic with my name and face on it saying that Pittman was my ride or die. So if we didn't if we didn't get him, if we didn't take him at ADP in this draft, that would make me look like a liar, and I'm not lying. Michael Pittman, ride or die. Let's go. All right, Caleb Johnson, good for them. I love that for them. I would love for a bunch of running backs to go here that aren't our guy.
I would agree.
Yeah,
and it feels pretty good that he took a running back there because it seems unlikely he takes a running back on the way back. Right. So
getting a running back here is, I think, even if we have to take somebody we're maybe not in love with, I think it's going to be really helpful to our build.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, Bill still there, dude. I need to scroll him off my screen.
I am just not a. I don't know what to do with it.
You're not a Bill Lever?
I don't know what to do with it. I get it. A lot of people talked about like his college career, and he wouldn't have been a 7th round pick if he played out of this. Well, all right. Maybe. Possibly.
Right. There's a lot of weird players in here. Yeah, there's a ton of that. There's a ton of that what if stuff with a lot of these guys, Like I'll tell you.
There's again, right now, a guy I just added to the bottom of our queue. Like what happens here? Like what's it's.
I love that pick.
Right. Like that's a spot that could pay off huge.
Yeah.
Right, but we have no idea what's going on. So
we got the question in the chat here from Ryan that we'll hit real quick. This week, Pittman, Pollard, or Olave in PPR. I'm not going to start Olave with Spencer Rattler. Pollard's in a decent spot without Tajay Spears, but it's not a good matchup. And then Pittman is Pittman. So, John,
I don't really want to run Pollard in Denver week 1. That just doesn't feel like a good spot.
That's the problem, yeah. So I would probably I would go Pittman.
I would go Pittman too. Bill just went off the board, so we're okay there.
Good for Bill.
I am not as down on Spencer Rattler as everybody is in terms of like you kind of talked about it, right? Olave can be good with a bad quarterback if he's the only one getting targets, right? So I'm okay with playing Olave long term. I think that he's a good wide receiver 3 this year. All right, let's take our guy.
Good. Someone took Kincaid. All right, our guy is, of course, Tank Bigsby, correct?
Tank Bigsby, correct.
Okay, good. Awesome. So, folks, that was the guy we were alluding to. Sorry, we're playing a little covert here. I think at this stage, if anybody's been watching the stream that's in the draft with us, they probably already left because we're not giving anything away. We can talk. It'll be fine.
And yes, we did take Tank Bigsby earlier than his ADP, and we took him ahead of Travis Etienne. Comments from Liam Cohen recently about Travis Etienne. We love that his ability to line up at all different spots in the offensive formation, including wide receiver.
Good.
Great. So now we know what role he plays. We know what role the Tank Bigsby is going to be playing in this offense. So
exactly.
Unless Liam Cohen is a liar, it seems like Travis Etienne, as you've tweeted out, as other people have then copied your tweet and tweeted out as their own take,
and then acknowledged that my take was first, and then good take.
That Travis Etienne seems to be lining up as the Rachaad White role. I hate making those sort of comparisons.
Me too.
New systems, new everything. But if you were to line it up 1, 2, 3, it does seem like Tank Bigsby is going to be playing the Bucky Irvin role in this offense. Seems like Travis Etienne is going to be playing the Rachaad White role in this offense, which Rachaad White was a usable, viable fantasy player last year still in PPR formats because of the role that he had.
Yeah.
And then so was Bucky Irving. So Bigsby, Etienne, both are fantasy viable. We're bigger believers in Bigsby getting the touchdowns and being the early down guy.
Right. That Travis Etienne pick might not be bad either at this ADP. If he's Rachaad White had 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Right, Rachaad White was fine last year.
50 catches, perfect. Right.
But the starting running back, based on all the data I've seen, Nathan Yonke over at PFF has a really good study on it. The starting running back, in almost all cases, even when they don't have the third down work or pass work, has more RB1 games, more RB2 games. They offer more consistency. It's just the case of the starting running back. And people say, "Oh, Tank Bigsby can't catch," but I mean, if he's the starting running back for this team, he's going to catch a bare minimum number of passes, and he was put up better pass catching numbers in college than Bashal Tootin did. Yeah. I really think
he really wasn't involved in the passing game last year. Obviously, again, different system, but he averaged 4.5 yards per carry or whatever. So they're gonna use.
Like Picking Horses says, there's a lot of backfields that I want to see how they shake out, and we get 2 of them tonight. Like I want to see how the Najee Harris and Marion Hampton split works out. I want to see what the Chiefs are doing. If it's Pacheco on pass down on rundowns, and then like Kareem Hunt
Yeah.
or Brashad Smith on pass downs. Not only did you get to see that tonight, but if you draft on FFPC and you schedule your draft for tomorrow, then you can actually go in and draft guys that have already
You
played
have
and put
2
them in
games worth of data to
2 games
build
worth
a
of
week
data.
1 lineup over, you know? So, like,
Right. We did this one today because it's in this slot, but tomorrow go and check the schedule, see if there's any on there. Get set up at myffpc.com now. Use promo code ALARM. They'll give you $25 when you deposit 35 or more. But you can literally draft. This is your last chance to draft, and you can put these guys right in your lineup. Like our lineup is going to have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts in it for week 1, which is going to be great for our matchup. So,
right.
yeah, definitely check the free look out there. That's a lot of fun. I've been hearing something similar, picking horses. John, I want to get your take on this. He said, I was reading this morning, the Jets will split Allen with Brees pretty much evenly. Who knows how true that is, but he's good value where he goes. If Brees gets
I
traded, you're something
I'll
great.
say this, right? Find out who you're reading it from. Now, I actually sent our guy Howard Bender a message on this the other day where there's a lot of preseason opinion columns that have come out, like my 25 predictions or my this and my that are put out by like CBS, ESPN, publications, team reporters, where they're just opinion pieces.
Right.
And then they get picked up by a fantasy site who writes a headline. Brees Allen and Braylon Allen are going to split carries. Then they get retweeted by a fantasy analyst, with all the stats why, Braylon Allen's the guy to draft. And then when you follow the cookie crumble all the way back, you find out it's just an opinion piece, right?
Yes.
So it's like, understand where the source is going, understand what the report actually is. If it's the Jets head coach, or offensive coordinator coming out, be like, we're going to use both of these guys evenly in our offense. They both bring different elements of the game. Then sure, take
Right.
it for what it is. But if it's a beat writer being like, here's how I see the Jets offense playing out, Braylon Allen, look better as a runner. Brees Hall is a very elite, talented running back.
He's awesome.
Why you would take him off the field for Braylon Allen, to me, in an offense where you want to run the football with Justin Fields, doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm also not as high on either player because Justin Field exists in that offense.
Right.
If Justin Fields is going to run for 1,000 yards, sure, we saw Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson have huge seasons together, but like, that's Derrick Henry and that's Lamar Jackson. We're talking Justin Fields and a Jets offense here that just lost their best offensive lineman, by the way. I'm not too high or sure on that Jets offense and what they're going to do here.
Exactly. And I tell you, people are like, oh, yeah, well, they're going to trade Brees Hall. So they're going to increase Brees Hall's trade value by doing what? Making him a part-time player? That's what they're going to say. Like, the guy already is on the last year of his deal. The most they're going to get back from him would be a 3rd or 4th round pick, because if you're trading for Brees Hall, you're trading for the rights to make him one of the highest paid players in the league. So like, the worst thing they could do is go out and make him a part-time player and say, oh yeah, we like Braylon Allen just as much. Oh, do you want this other guy that we don't like? Like, of course not. If they're anything, they're going to get it. They're going to run him a ton. Trey Benson, I just jinxed him. I clicked his name into our queue, and the moment I did, there he goes. But that's okay, because we should probably look at wide receiver here. I mean, we're free now. So here's our lineup so far. Folks that missed the start of the draft: Saquon, Jacobs, Tank Bigsby. Then we have JSN, Cortland Sutton, Matthew Golden, Michael Pittman. We have Jalen Hurts and Evan Engram. So we have a pretty honest build here, and we can do whatever we want.
The guy that's at the top of our queue, I'm actually very high on.
I mean, especially now that you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it away. If this guy on the clock is listening and just waiting for us to slip up so he can steal our player, that's ridiculous. But now that Christian Kirk is potentially, he's dealing with a hamstring again, Jaden Higgins has the path to being an every down full-time guy opposite of Nico Collins. And I know that Jalen Noel is going to play some slot, but we're taking Higgins, right?
Yeah, Higgins for sure.
Let's go up.
Second round pick for them. Like,
we're trying to win this. If you're playing in a hometown 12-team contained league where there's a lot of bench spots and it's just you versus 11 guys, maybe you don't go in on Matthew Golden and Jaden Higgins and Tank Bigsby like we did, but we're trying to beat a field that's pretty big. It's not hundreds of thousands of people, but it's still, the Big Gorilla still has how many teams? I'll check. but it still has a decent number of teams. We got to beat a ton. We got to beat a decent number of guys here. 17,700. So it's not like their main event, or it's not like some of the giant contests they do, but we still got to beat these guys. We're going to need breakouts. We're going to need this year's BTJ. Last year, when you go through and look at the teams that win, John, it was the names you would expect in a lot of cases. It was a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. It was a lot of Bucky Irving. There was a lot of Brock Bowers. So you're going to have to take those risks. And then you got to hit on the right kind of older guys that are falling. Last year, some big names that were in the final lineups, guys like James Conner that was going at a discount. Guys like Adam Thielen quietly was like wide receiver 13 over the second half of the season when he returned.
Yeah.
So you just you got to find the right balance. We're taking our shots on upside now, and then we're gonna see if we can sneak some of those old timers that we think still have juice in the tank onto the team a little later. Jake Ferguson, he's next up in ADP. That's a name that I just don't ever click. Don't click it.
It's a guy that I have a lot of shares of.
Berg?
Yep. That's what I was talking about earlier. I had 100 targets a couple years ago, 70 catches.
That was before George Pickens showed up in town, though.
He had 5 catches last night.
For 20 yards.
Well, it can't help the yardage, but you can help the targets and a tight end premium.
In tight end premium, yes, but he is slow. You want the combination. The perfect ideal guy has the athleticism to break off big chunk plays, and he has a path to
2023 he had 102 targets. 2024 he had 86 in 14 games.
Right. But I mean, again, if George Pickens,
the guy that Dak Prescott likes to throw the football to, and he's always, Lamb and Pickens are going down the field, and Ferguson's just alive underneath, and he gets those plays.
So picking words, want to say what's not to like about Ferguson. The problem that you run into with Ferguson, again, he's a decent floor play, but you want your guy to be a top 2 target on the team. If you said you like the where I push back, John, is you say you like George Pickens and Jake Ferguson. It's just so rare to have 3 fantasy relevant pass catchers all.
So here's the thing. I agree with you, except this Dallas Cowboys team is going to do that because Dak Prescott is going to have to throw the football a ton. They're just. I understand they had 2 rushing touchdowns last night, but they didn't run the ball well. Right. Like, I think that this is still going to be a spot where they're going to have to throw the football a ton. I am fine not taking Jake Ferguson. Evan Ingram as our tight end 1 is fine. We can take guys that are down the board a little bit more. But I do think that Ferguson is someone that's going to be a productive.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's exactly okay. But for me, if Jake Ferguson's my starting tight end, I'm absolutely using a bench.
Well, he's not going to be our starting tight end. Evan Ingram's going to be our starting tight end.
I know, but if let's say we didn't have him, if I have a team out there, if anyone's listening, if your team has Jake Ferguson and no other tight end on the bench with no other shot at upside, then I would strongly consider adding another tight end so that you just don't want to just cruise all the way through the season with a back end tight end 1. You want to give yourself some shot at upside. And if in worst case scenario, then you just start a boring guy all year. Dallas Goedert, Jake Ferguson, whatever. But you got to give yourself a chance. We're on the clock here.
Do we just need Ramondre here or
Chubb? Because dude, after watching Javonte Williams last night, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what if Nick Chubb just is the starting?
So PFF graded the Houston Texans offensive line 32nd in football.
Yeah, it's not good. They traded away Laramie Tunsil. But are we gonna take a back splitting? Let's take Ramondre. I do like Ramondre.
I'm just throwing him out there. If you want to do Chubb worked too.
You like Ramondre over Chubb, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do it.
I think they're all kind of in the same. I think they're kind of all in the same build there.
I think people are definitely. Again, I'm excited for TreVeyon Henderson. Absolutely, I'm a Patriots fan. So are you, John. We're very excited for TreVeyon Henderson. But I've watched Josh McDaniels run this offense in New England for 18 years. And every single one of those years, he used multiple backs. He used an early down back, whether it was Corey Dillon or Stephen Ridley or LeGarrette Blount or whoever it was, Sony Michel. They used an early down back, and then they used a pass down back. And those were guys like Kevin Falk or Danny Woodhead or James White or Deion Lewis or, you can go through the history of this team, and there's only essentially been one time where they had the same player get 200 carries and 35 targets, right? So, and that was not when McDaniels was here. It was Ramondre like a couple years ago. So like it doesn't happen like that on this team. I think both players are going to play. And if you think the team's going to be good, then you should be in on Ramondre. Regardless of whether the team is good or not, Travion Henderson should be useful because he's going to
Yes.
catch passes, and whether they're winning or losing, he can make explosive plays. So that's kind of the way it is. So betting on Travion is just betting on him to be good.
Travion isn't going to be a guy that gets early. He's not built to be an early down back.
Right.
So
So he could be like if you look at the guys last year, there was only a handful of guys that were able to put together like 20 plus point games on less than 10 carries. And it was the guys you'd expect. It was Jahmyr Gibbs, it was Devon Achane, it was Alvin Kamara, and it was JD McKissick, which I mean, he just had one weird, really good game. But like there are guys capable of it. So taking Travion is betting that he can be that kind of explosive player. I don't think that's a crazy bet, but just know what you're drafting here. That he's probably not going to be, playing. He's not going to come out like Bijan and play 75% of the snaps, right? Right, John?
Yeah, sorry, I got quickly distracted there.
You're doing a draft, so I want you double focused on both.
I know. Listen, we
this.
wear many hats over here at Fantasy Alarm, so you get pulled in one direction for one thing and the one in the other here. I didn't hear anything that you said. It all sounded pretty good though. So
there you go. I was just explaining the history of the two-back system in New England, which people don't like hearing it, but it's the truth. I traded CMC for Achane right after I heard the news. Much rather have CMC, but I've seen this play out before. Well, Tyler, you do know that Achane also has a hamstring issue that he's been dealing.
I was gonna say, like he was just hurt too.
Yeah, you just traded hurt guys for hurt guys, but it is scary with CMC. Let's see what happens today. But I think that's it is what it is. I'm still banking on CMC. I think he's going to be really good at football this year. Yeah, you're right. CMC kind of surprising. He did still go at 9 in this draft, but people in these they play for upside. They have a lot of these. Some of these people are just trying to round out their exposures too. They're just saying, hey, you know what? This is the draft where I'm going to take CMC. I'm going to get him for the cheapest I've seen him go, which he usually goes 7, 8, So you never know the intentions of some of these people. We put our name in as Big Gorilla 37 to make people think we've done a lot of these, even though I've only done a couple. We're trying to play the psych out game. So let's see what happens coming around here. Tight ends that just went: Zach Ertz, Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange. Again, these guys, to me, I call them double handcuff pluses. Same with Dallas Goedert, where they have standalone value. If one of the two wide receivers gets hurt, it is wheels up, right? With Brenton Strange, Travis Hunter could face plant. So Brenton Strange has another out. Same with Zach Ertz. He could just flat out get more targets than Deebo Samuel. But for the most part, you're drafting somebody who's safe but boring. And if someone gets hurt, then it's wheels up. So I'll be interested to see when someone takes a shot on Brandon Aubrey after yesterday, John.
Right. Again, you obviously know where the points are going to be as you try to win your week 1 matchup, right? So,
yeah. Nick saying I got Jefferson McBride from the 6 hole yesterday in a big gorilla or in a regular. That's got to be a regular draft because McBride always goes. This is tight end premium, Nick. So that's why. But Jefferson McBride, that's a solid start, man. That's like 300 plus targets. There goes Rachaad White, a player I would have considered for sure. Let's take a little peek at the old queue, see what we got going on here. Now we're getting into the range where we could potentially consider a second tight end or quarterback, but I don't want to do that just yet. This is a 20-round draft. I don't know how much we're going to do of it live, John. That's up to you, buddy.
I'm here, man. We can. I don't know what your schedule. I know you got to be on XM at 6, so I mean, we can. You only got a couple of rounds left.
Yeah, we'll get a couple in here, dude. But yeah, so we'll keep building this one out. Definitely want to consider. I think we can wait and take them very late. I think we want to just keep jamming on upside plays at wide receiver and running back here.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean the top 2 guys that are queue are potential upside plays more to the top guy than
I just replaced the top guy with somebody I think is very exciting.
Okay, who did you replace the top guy with?
The
guy that's there now.
The guy that's there now, yeah.
That's I think we both dragged him up at the same time then because.
Oh, great, yeah. Where's he in the ADP? I don't think it really matters at this stage, but I like the smoke on Alec Ayaminar is really kind of the opposite of the
He's way
Bill.
down. He's 211. So like
Yeah.
that was a deep guy that I threw down there. So
But he's, there you never know with these folks out here.
that's fair.
What do you think about Najee Harris?
Well, like, that's where you talked about it earlier. The interesting thing with Harris, if you're just looking at sort of Vegas props, Mary Hampton is at like a 12.5 carry total today, and Najee's at 6.5. So if you're a buyer in Najee Harris in like more of a split carry workload and that, like there's some money to be made tonight on the overs.
I'm going to bet on that for sure. I'm going to bet the over on the carries. And I think if we take Najee here, we can kind of be done at running back.
Okay. Jaden Reed trying to play through a broken foot this year.
Yeah, I have no interest in that move. Let's take Najee here. You know what? His eye looks fine.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, dude. He did a press conference the other day. It looks great.
Okay. I'm good. Listen, this is the guy that everybody was willing to draft earlier.
Eye.
I'm good with that. And we'll just throw some fab money behind it.
Looks like a normal eye, but he's got a it looks like there's like he definitely has some like burns around it for sure. Do we take Najee?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Great. All right. Question in the chat here. Feel free to throw questions in there. We'll definitely hit on them while we're going through and doing the last draft of the year for me. John, are you doing any more?
Hold on. I'm trying to get an animal out of my office here. I got one more.
Would you trade JSN for Connor and Waddle? I only got Achane and Pollard as RBs. Rest of my team are wide receivers. I really don't like doing 2-for-1s right now, especially if it's a shallow league, because the person who's doing that trade definitely has somebody that they're picking up off the wire. Also, let me know in the chat, who would you drop to do that trade? Because you got to drop, unless you have somebody you can move to IR, you got to drop somebody. So let us know what that's actually looking like. What's up? We got the Twitch gang in the house. Twitch glasses for the Twitch gang. Thank you guys for popping in. If you are watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitter, great. That's awesome. If you do watch over on YouTube, though, hit like and subscribe. That means a lot to us. That's something that you can do for free to support us, like us, when we do it on this channel every single day, and we share our tips and tricks with you guys. So we're trying to help you guys out too. So if you could go and do that, that would be really cool. Rashi suspended. You can't put Rashi in an IR spot though, unless. Can you do that on ESPN? Somebody was alluding to the possibility.
I don't think so. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, but you're not going to drop Rashi Rice. That's the thing. Like, who are you going to drop to do that trade? That's actually the most important part of the. So on NFL you can put Rashi into a spot. Did Tillman get drafted? Yeah, we like Tillman. We had Tillman in the queue. I know you like Njoku this year with Flacco, but how do you feel about Tillman right now? I mean, the way Joe Flacco operates, he runs such a fast-paced offense. He wants to get the ball out of his hands very quickly. He's typically top 5 in time to throw. Like, that's why even with the Jets, with the Browns, with the Colts, no matter where he's been, they're running like 70 plays a game. Like the average plays per game is like 63 or so. They're running like 70, sometimes 75, because he gets the ball out quick and he loves the short targets. So I think Njoku, Tillman, and Judy can all feast as long as he's the quarterback. The problem that you run into is that this team has 4.5 win over under. Eventually, they're probably going to bench Flacco and open up the quarterback clown car. That could happen at the worst possible time for fantasy football. So Njoku is one of those guys where I'm absolutely he's very high in my weekly rankings, but just know that like a time could come where they switch the quarterbacks. And when that happened last year, like you saw some weird games for Njoku. You saw one game where he got a ridiculous number of targets from Jameis Winston and didn't catch like any of them, 1 of 5 in one of those games. Like, just be wary that the floor could fall out. The longer Flacco starts, like if somehow the Browns can surprise people and Flacco can start the whole year, Njoku could be tight end 1. Like he was on pace for like 200 targets in 2023 with Flacco.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, obviously, of his not only just matchup specific, but he's a guy that gets involved here. Ethan wants to know thoughts on Tillman. Again, I'm fine going with all of those pass catchers in the matchup this week.
Exactly. This week for sure. Get him in there. So I would start him over Braylon Allen this week. Absolutely. Yep. And Don wants to know, need 2 flex. Jacoby Myers, Cooper Kupp, Keon Coleman, Adam Thielen. This is a Scott Fishbowl question. Cooper Kupp, I'm going to start. Probably Myers too, right? Keon
Yeah.
Coleman's banged up. Do we know if Keon Coleman's going to go?
I mean, I don't know yet. We'd have to get the end report. I was going to ask you your thoughts on Brandon Ayuk, who just went. Is there an IR spot for this?
No.
Okay. So you're just
You just play it as it lies.
All
So
right,
we
we're
are on the clock.
Would you? I mean, we're getting getting thin here. I mean, at this point, it could just be taking the upside guys.
Chigakonkwo is interesting here. If we're going to take a tight end, he's like the last one that I really like.
All right, take him. We're in a spot. The other two guys are too far down the board to draft now, probably. So
I would say he's next in ADP too. So
right.
let's take him.
Pull the trigger.
Boom, Chig. So we're getting a pick 148. I mean, that's right around his ADP. So I think that's a good pick there. I mean, this guy could be a top 2 target on the team. His quarterback is definitely known for playing hero ball, letting the ball fly. He also, Cam Ward, playing in college, he loved throwing it to Elijah Arroyo, and they kind of a similar type player, like a big slot, speedy guy. Chig runs a 4.5 240. So we're talking about a guy that runs the same 40 time as George Kittle, 97th percentile speed for the position. There's only been, over the last 5 years, there's only been 3 tight ends to have 3 or more 40-plus yard plays in the same season. They are George Kittle, they are Kyle Pitts, and Chigakonkwo. So this is a guy, to me, I love him in best ball especially, but we got Evan Ingram as our safe guy, and we have Chig as our like high risk, high reward type guy. Broly 619, Williams, Pacheco, Hampton, and Cook. Who do I sit? So out of those guys, Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Omarion Hampton, and James Cook. You can't sit Kyron Williams or James Cook. So it's either the rookie or Pacheco. What do you think, Johnny? Pacheco or Hampton? Both playing tonight. I'd probably start Hampton. It's just more fun.
I know. I'd probably go Hampton too. I got to go make my pick in this our draft for the Chicago Cubs here.
Oh yeah, we got one last slow draft going with a couple of Chicago Cubs in it.
I've unfortunately missed a few picks and auto drafted, but not upset with the way the auto draft has gone for me. So yeah, but I don't have a tight end yet, so that probably
Nakua or Brian Thomas Jr. What kind of a league is this, my dude? You have to sit one of those players. I guess I would sit. I mean, honestly, you should sit whoever you drafted second. Let me take a peek at these matchups. And I'm going to check my actual rankings on this. I'm probably going to start Brian. I would start Brian Thomas Jr. against the Panthers rather than starting Nakua going up against Derek Stingley and the gang over there. This Texans secondary actually could be pretty good. So I would sit Puka Nakua. And we'll take a look at Matthew Stafford and see how the back and the elbow are looking. Let's see. More Browns questions from Ethan. Grab Sampson with one of my final picks, 12-team, 18-man roster. I grabbed Judkins, assuming he signs soon. Any feel for how this mess unfolds? If they sign Quizzion Judkins, I'm very much interested because he is a very good football player. You got to put the rest of that aside. If he doesn't get suspended and they sign him, he's the best running back on the team. Simple as that. Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson kind of do a very similar thing where they can hit big home runs. But Judkins should start. He should get the early work. Like he should get the goal line work. So if they do sign him, then I'm interested. I'm surprised they didn't sign him right away. Like right when everything got cleared, they should have just signed him. I don't know what's going on there. Pat Freiermuth, going pretty late. The problem you run into with the Steelers tight ends, both of them, Jonnu and Freiermuth, is that Arthur Smith is a former tight end coach. He is a tinkerer, classic tight end tinkerer, just like Shane Waldron. He has never once had a tight end start 75% of the snaps for him. Not Delaney Walker, not Kyle Pitts, not Pat Freiermuth, not Jonnu Smith on the Titans, not Jonnu Smith on the Falcons. So I think those guys are going to rotate. They're going to be moved around all over the place. It's going to be a lot of cuteness and a lot of weirdness, and it's going to be tough to – it could end up being tough to pick who's going to do better from week to week. Just like remember Kyle Pitts and Johnny Smith on the Falcons. There were a lot of weeks where Johnny Smith outperformed Kyle Pitts because that's part of the scheme is just keeping everybody off their toes. We want schemes that are like we know exactly who the top guys are. You know, we want to know who the stars are, and that is a tough scheme for that. So. Harold Fannin pick here, John.
You're the tight end guy. Do you think there's some upside to that play?
I mean, in Dynasty, I definitely am interested. I don't know if they run a lot of 2 tight end sets, but Njoku isn't like a blocking tight end. So I think that Harold Fannin is probably just going to be a guy that comes in every once in a while to be like a big slot guy. I know he set all the records, but he set them all in the Mountain West. I mean, he set the records in the same division where, Corey Davis set all the wide receiver records. Corey Davis has the most college receiving yards of any wide receiver of all time, but he did it in that division. Same with Harold Fannin. Same with Case Keenum, right? Case Keenum has like all the records for quarterbacks. It's like that conference. You got to take it with a grain of salt. And people are like, oh yeah, he went crazy against Penn State, but Penn State, the safety for Penn State tried to play the game with a banged up knee and gave up a giant play immediately and then got taken out of the game. Adrian, whatever his name is, like, I don't know, man. I did a lot of looking at Harold Fannin there, and I'm not as high as everyone else. To me, he's like Jatavian Sanders, and I like Jatavian Sanders. Jatavian Sanders has a better opportunity this year, so I'm not taking Harold Fannin until guys like Jatavian Sanders or Elijah Arroyo are gone.
Yeah.
I'm taking starting tight ends before I take any backup tight ends. That goes for Fannin. That goes for Isaiah Likely. That goes for Ben Sennett. So none for me.
We're about to be on the clock here. Couple of rounds left. Do you go backup QB now? Do you start the kicker trend? Like,
so if we were to go backup QB, you would take Trevor Lawrence here?
I would.
I think we push it one more round at quarterback, and we take either Lawrence or JJ McCarthy, whoever's there. Let's see what the team next to us. Yeah, they could be actually be in a position to double tap.
Yeah, the next two teams. Actually, does 1 and 2 have 2 quarterbacks already?
No, they don't. They actually, the 2 teams next to us waited, so actually they do double tap. So if you want to get Lawrence now, then we can do that. I
think Lawrence now makes sense.
Yeah, let's just get him. Let's just get our guy. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, this guy next to us has. I think they're going to take
just Fields.
I think this guy next to us is going to take JJ McCarthy right now. Yep, he did. Yeah, because he has Justin Jefferson. And this guy with Caleb Williams, I would not be surprised to see him take a quarterback.
Jordan Love or something, right? Like,
he's doing a big Bears stack over here. He's got Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and Caleb Williams. If he's a stacker, maybe he takes Herbert. No, Herbert already went.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy's going to take another quarterback. He might have taken Trevor Lawrence if we didn't take him. So I'm glad we did that.
He does sort of have the advantage of waiting now because the odds are.
Yeah, the odds. There's nobody that really.
Because I'm just saying, like a lot of teams have us 2 quarterbacks already, so like he's not really now forced into necessarily drafting a second one yet. But
yeah. This guy Burley, once again, one more question. Herbert or Nick?
He took Jordan Love, so he did take the second quarterback. So I think taking Lawrence there was a correct move. I think we would have lost him.
Especially because at least 2 of these picks now have been quarterbacks.
Yeah. Or if nothing else, the 2 picks, one of the next 4 would have been a quarterback there because they come back around on the turn. So
yeah, there wasn't anybody there that we had to get. I'm thinking with this next pick, Jordan Love. Yeah, there you go. I'm thinking with this next pick, we go either Xavier Legette or our top secret sleeper.
Well, Legette just went.
Okay, well then I think
that makes that a bit easier for us here.
I think it's not too early to make that pick.
I agree. Based on at this point, I don't think it's too early really to take any of these guys. So,
Ethan wants to know 12 team PPR, Hubbard or Swift?
Chuba. It's
is
probably
going up against
Chuba, but I am very
Jacksonville.
bullish on Swift this year as well. So
Yeah, me too. Chuba's going against Jacksonville, and Swift is going against the Packers.
Minnesota.
No, Minnesota.
Minnesota had a really good run defense last year, but
yeah, Chuba. I
just buying into Ben Johnson being able to use him differently.
Tajay Spears. That's kind of a weird pick. He did look pretty good down the stretch, but he's going to miss the first 4 games minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the backup running back for the team that was dead last year. All right, here we go. Here's our.
He triple tapped the quarterback. We had no shot at Lawrence.
Yeah, well, we did that. All right, here. Are you cool with this pick?
Yeah.
All right, we're taking Elik Ayamenar. I'm telling you right now, the opposite of what's been going on with Bill Krosky-Merritt is going on with him. The coach literally came out and said, Brian Callahan came out and said, this guy deserves to be called a starter. He's been playing incredible. Cam Ward came out and said, I think we got to steal with this guy. I've been playing against him in the Pac-12 all through college, and he's awesome. And I went and took a look at the usage this preseason, and Tyler Lockett has actually played 19 snaps. 18 of them he played from the slot. He only played 1 snap out wide. I think this team is ready to go out there and use Calvin Ridley on one side and Elik Ayamenar on the other side and Tyler Lockett in the slot. Now, it could be a situation where Tyler Lockett plays in the slot and then 2 wide receiver sets, he stays on the field and plays out wide. We didn't see much of that in preseason. That could be the case, but it could be possible that this guy, Elik Ayamenar, is an every down player for Cam Ward right away. So that's why we're grabbing him here. The pick that went after us, another popular sleeper, Torrey Horton, that I don't mind. But the thing with Horton is that team uses a fullback. They use blocking tight ends. It's going to be Cooper Kupp and JSN. Horton kind of needs an injury to become an every down player. Elik Ayamenar could be right away.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm pumped on him. I'm glad we got him there. I don't think he was going to last until his ADP because the steam has been too high.
No, I agree. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did.
Yeah.
Because the board, now we're getting into like kickers and defense ranges. So like Aubrey just went, a Denver defense went a couple rounds ago.
Aubrey there is fine. I mean, like I said, round 15 is when you can. Denver defense there is, to me, too early. That is a play. That's a spot where, I mean, last year no team that took a defense that early finished in finished in the big money in this contest. Round 15 was the earliest anyone took a kicker or defense. So I don't mind the Brandon Aubrey pick there, considering like he just scored a ton of points last night. But he is awesome, man.
Guy's got 65 yards in his leg. So
garbage RB pick for this week: Uncle Rico, Tyler Algier, or Kenneth Gainwell. I think you just start Algier, man.
Yeah, probably Algier.
He had like 900 yards from scrimmage. They're so confident in him as the RB2 that they just basically released Carlos Washington. I'm not sure if they even brought him back, but like the Falcons, just like the Cowboys last night, the Cowboys just went into the game last night with only 2 backs active. They put Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue wasn't even active. The Falcons depth chart is Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Nathan Carter. I don't know anything about Nathan Carter. I don't know if he plays special teams or what, if he's going to be healthy and active, but it really is just Bijan and Algier. So, yeah, no problem starting him in a garbage situation like that. Isaac Tesla off the board.
It's a good name.
Yeah, I mean, he's trending up too. Anytime a team is willing to trade away the guy ahead of you on the depth chart, that's good news. At what point do we just take Christian Kirk? Dude?
I was going to say, if he gets back to us at this
and just kind of lock down that, because like outside of a Jalen Noel, barn
to
burner,
me, there's just no risk in the pick. So
right. Unless Dalton, what if Dalton Schultz just comes out and he gets like,
well, you draft him and you just kind of wait and see what happens whenever he does come back, and if he's not usable, then
we're giving ourselves 2 shots at having the full-time player opposite Nico Collins, right? Because we already have Jaden Higgins. That's why I like the Christian Kirk pick, because it's like it's gonna be one of those 2 guys.
I get he's dealing with an injury, but like people are fading him by 40 picks right now, 50 picks right now.
Yeah, it's gotten out of hand.
I have to assume someone pulls.
Right.
He might go here.
I think the thing is, I love it because we're cornering the market. Like, One of these guys is going to be an every down player for the Texans.
Jalen Noel's on the
Yeah.
board too, by the way. Like we could grab.
Well, if we take Jalen Noel, the problem with Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins is that, like, what if Christian Kirk is just fine, and then Christian Kirk is playing like a Chris Godwin-esque role where he's like slot, and then he moves out wide, and then we basically just have two rookies that aren't even playing. I think if we take Kirk, that gives us the highest odds of hitting.
No, I agree. Kirk is the guy that I want to draft here. I can't imagine he gets to us in 2 more. Looking at the board that we're looking at, how is he not the one that gets picked?
At a certain point, people get that like feeling where it's
Tua?
like,
All right, we're
oh,
one
man,
away.
there's something happening here where no one's taking him. There's got to be something, nobody wants to be that guy.
We'll be that guy.
It was happening for a long time with Joe Mixon too.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Who is this here? 3 a.m. Gorilla. Where is this guy? I wonder where this guy's located. This guy might be overseas. JT Sanders. Good pick for him, but that's fine for us. Okay. We're taking Kirk. I mean, that's just good. That's just good.
You got a player with an ADP of 120 at pick 189. So
where we have the other player that's going to play the role in Jaden Higgins, we're getting 2 shots at a full-time every down player. I mean, that's just game theory right there, right? We're hedging our bet there, and we can if we have to drop Kirk or we have to drop Higgins, fine. Yep. Roster build wise, we're sitting here with 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. We probably should be done there. We're going to need a kicker or defense over the next 4 rounds. Fine. 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers. I mean, we can just take best available. Do one more running back?
Yeah, I mean, we can. There's not really much. Take like Dameon Pierce.
Yuck.
I mean, it's Nick Chubb, and then it's Woody Marks and Dameon Pierce, and
Miles Sanders had a great run last night, and then the worst fumble ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like throwing a dart at Roshan. I know he's hurt, but there has to be a second running back in Chicago that gets played,
right?
And I don't think it's Kyle Monangai. So
yeah, could be Monangai. Taj Brooks.
I don't know. I don't think he's
Samaje Perine could be playing. Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, are we ever going to see Marshawn Lloyd play? Ever?
Probably not.
Emmanuel Wilson had some chunk plays last year.
I mean, you just handcuff our running back. You could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't really like handcuff my own back. Let's take a rookie wide receiver. Kyle Williams, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant.
I mean, they're fine. Kyle Williams, to me, obviously has more of a pathway to opportunity because what's in front of him, right?
Right.
Mario Douglas, it's Kayshon Boutte. Diggs is locked in. He suffered the concussion against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that kind of set him back a little bit. So who knows where he's at.
I like that pick. I say we do that.
Okay.
Patriots are I feel like the more I think about it, I feel like they're going to use a lot of fullback and 2 tight end sets over there. Yeah, we took Iamar. Taj is an interesting one. Trevor Etienne.
He's just another late round pick, and they got they got their guy already around. So
I'll tell you, Kev, there's a growing contingency of people that like Trevor Etienne. It's got to be more. That's more of a dynasty play for me, but not crazy. Taj Brooks just went. Dameon Pierce just went. Okay, good. I kind of made our decision easy there.
Okay.
BJ Giddens went early. This is where I usually end up with Giddens. I kind of like the Chris Rodriguez pick there that guy made last round.
Yeah, well, that was one that I would have actually taken ahead of Kirk if he was still on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, there's way more wide receivers that I like. I mean, there's like De'Ami Brown, Alec Pierce, Darius Slayton, all kind of the same guy. Now we could. I mean, this is maybe a 2 condom move, but we could also do the same thing we just did with the Texans wide receivers and take Tyler Lockett. And then we have Eli Kamenar and Tyler Lockett. And one of them is going to likely be an every down player. But that
I
doesn't
mean, at
necessarily
this late in the
mean
draft, I think it's all just darts anyways. You see what happens and play. You're really just going to use these guys as you've called them plenty of times before, lottery tickets and scratch tickets. So
and then we drop one of them, like, because we're going to need somebody to drop for the hot
in
waiver
week
pickup
one,
anyway.
someone, knock on wood, will get hurt though, and we'll just drop one of these guys and throw Fab behind it and see what happens. Like it's just.
Kev Tompkins, local Packers fan, reporting that Chris Brooks is the guy they like over Emmanuel Wilson. I could see that. Emmanuel Wilson is more of like a they were like pass catcher type back. Like they use Patrick Taylor like that for a long time, and Wilson could be that. Yeah. So Brooks Cloud situation. I would love to see Marshawn Lloyd, man. There was a lot of hype for him. I just never seen him play in the NFL. Yeah, get your question in, Lilo Wee with the Twitch gang. Again, reminder, if you're over there with the Twitch gang or if you're watching on Twitter, that's cool. You can watch wherever you want. But if you come over to YouTube and watch over there, hit like, hit subscribe. That helps us out. It helps us out because that's the algorithm where most of the people see our stuff. We're helping you guys out, giving you all information over here every day for free for a lot of different sports. Johnny, you excited for basketball to be fired up yet? Or
Can't wait. We're a little over a month away till the start of the NBA. I will say this, Coop. We always appreciate all the free support. You can hit that like, share, subscribe button. We do now have the ability to be an official subscriber, paid subscriber member to the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, there's a join button now where you get perks. Some of those perks come with badges, unique emojis that you can use during your chat, and you get priority questions. Yes. So question will get moved to the top of the list. Coop and I do start sit on Sunday mornings. If you want to, and we have hundreds
of
questions. If you want priority to your questions being answered, move right to the top of the list with a cool badge, cool emoji opportunities, brought up right on the screen. I think it even kind of splashes when you question as well. It's $4.99 for the month. So it's $1.50 a week. We do streams. Coop does streams Tuesday through Friday and Sunday. It pays for itself. You get priority questions to your answers to your questions. You don't have to do it. Yeah, we're not asking you to sign up. You can continue to support us in all of the free ways that we've talked about plenty of times before. But if you do want to support us, throw a couple bucks behind the show for us here. Hit that join button. It's $4.99 for the month, and you get a bunch of cool perks. And we have discussed the potential for member-only streams, member-only chats, some member-only content on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. So down the line, your subscription may be worth even more value to you there as well. So again, we appreciate the free support with those likes, shares, comments, subscribes each and every day. But if you do want to join in the channel and become a subscriber to that next level, that option is now available for you guys. And you get some priority access to us if you go ahead and join there. There's also super chats and donations turned on as well, which again, we certainly appreciate. It's not necessary. You absolutely don't have to do it, but if you do feel like you guys want to or capable of supporting us a little bit further there, those options are now available to you.
Yeah, means a lot to us for sure. And again, if you just want to become a Fantasy Alarm member, that's the greatest way to get all of our content. And now is no better time because it'll bring you right through the end of baseball, right into the beginning of basketball and hockey. If you go and use, do we still have any promo codes live, even though that we're past the 4th, Johnny?
Yeah, we still have it. So monthly 25 and annual 25 still are out there. So 25% off monthly subscription to All Pro. 7-day free trial still included. You sign up today and you get this week's DFS content for free. So you get all of our coaches, my quarterback coach, Coop's tight end coach, running back, wide receiver, and defensive coach. You get the showdown playbooks from Dan Malin. You did one last night. You'll have one for tonight, for Sunday, and for Monday. And you get Howard Bender's full Sunday playbook, full Sunday example lineups, awesome. The dartboard, all that great stuff for free for 7 days. And then if you use monthly 25, it knocks down the month-to-month subscription cost like $29.98. It's like $10 or so off the current monthly price. Or If you go annual, you get access for the full year, all content, all sports, not just the NFL, but NHL starts up in like 3 weeks. NBA starts up in 6 weeks. PGA, MMA, NASCAR, all of the sports that we cover, all of our best bets, college football, college basketball, you name it, for the year. So this time next year, it's annual 25. It's 25% off. It's already discounted 40% from the month-to-month cost. So it's already a huge discount. An extra 25% off on top of that. So 65% off the monthly cost. For the annual subscription, it's $215 for the year. It's like $17 a month. It's the cheapest we've ever sold this. So if you go to fantasyalarm.com/win, use promo code annual25 at the annual subscription level there. You can get all of that for $17 a month. If you want to go monthly, use monthly 25. You save 25% off that. It's about $29.97 a month. It's cancel anytime, and you start with a 7-day free trial. So right now, really, there's no better time than now to join the family, get all of our content for free for 7 days, and that'll pay off for itself. We had a $1 million winner, the FanDuel he used a single bullet. Millionaire Mike is what we call him to protect his identity there, but he called into the show. He talked about how he used our DFS playbook. He used the coaches. He used the playbook. He used the dartboard to build $5 single bullet in the FanDuel Millie. Took it down. Guy now owns a boat. Wish I could own it. He owns a boat. Bought it with his $1 million here. That like 2 weeks later, we had to win the showdown slate, Coop.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're on the clock. Do you want to just take the Eagles defense?
Eagles defense is fine. Cardinals defense actually set up.
I just went.
Okay, then Eagles are good. Eagles defense is good. Lock it in.
Eagles defense. I mean, like they were ranked. It's like they had not a great game yesterday.
If their best defensive player didn't spit on the quarterback to open the game, maybe it would have been okay.
Right. It happens. To answer this last question, I would go with Jameson Williams. I don't like the matchup for Garrett Wilson against the Steelers. I'd like to see what's going on there first. But you know what? We're just going to take the best kicker available here. So that's it for us here, Johnny. Anything else you want to get out there that before we take off?
No, everybody, just go join the family, man. Get in the Discord.
No better time. No better time. We're in there. I mean, you can ask us questions directly whenever. And again, you get priority on a lot of stuff if you're a member here on the YouTube channel, or if you're a member with us over at Fantasy Alarm. So that's going to be it for us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again,
see you Sunday.
Hit that like and subscribe. We will see you back here on Sunday morning answering every single one of your questions, because that's what we do.
11 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
11 a.m. to noon here on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on Sunday.
Adios, turd nuggets.